My name is Barry Ellis. I'm a retired private investigator of 18 years. I worked in the intelligence business for 2 years in the 70s. I moved to Port Townsend in 2012, and I had an experience that I think that some people need to know about because they've been possibly in the same experience, same situation that I have been. I moved into a house at 1507 31st Street owned by a Bent Meyer. Gentleman rented me the house in April 2011. 6 weeks later, I started bleeding internally. I went through 2 emergency surgeries and 4 other medical procedures. During this time, my former girlfriend then attempted suicide and is now basically brain dead. She had a major in 2 languages out of Penn State. So about 12 months elapsed and 2 neighbors came forward and told us that this house was used as a meth lab, and it was about 2 months before I moved in. One of them gave me a statement, who was the guardian lighter of the county, on a private level, and a neighbor across the street gave me an oral statement and verified this information to the newspapers. I emailed the landlord asking him about this, and he immediately told me to move out. I told him that I'm going to force him to evict me because I want to make this public record. I then contacted the health department. The health department said that when I move out they would take action. And it took me about 9 weeks, and it was about June 27th before I got out of this house, except for all my recording studio gear that was downstairs was contaminated, so I had to leave that. June 27th, I called the health department, Marjorie Boyd, Jefferson County Health Department, and she stated there was nothing that she could do for me. Only law enforcement or a homeowner can have the health department respond to that address. I called law enforcement, Port Townsend Police Department, and Sergeant Green, he stated it was a civil matter, there was nothing they could do. I then stayed in touch with the health department requesting they come into that thing for the next 6 weeks until I lost control of the house. In the time that I was in there, I received letters stating under Section 6444, Washington RCW, and the WAC code 256010, that when law enforcement becomes aware of chemical contamination or potential contamination, they're to notify a local health officer within 1 working day. Within 1 working day, the health officer is to post a notification upon that house to have the landlord test the house. That is the law, and potential contamination is a key word. And then the other word is owner, which is a key word. The health department states that only the owner can have them respond. If you look at the definition of owner in the WAC code 256010, it says leasee is an owner. If you look at a Jefferson County ordinance, occupant is an owner. So as an occupant and a leasee, I was not recognized as an owner. Therefore, they would not respond. This is against the RCW WAC and the Jefferson County ordinance. Second point is, I had to remove stuff from that place before I was locked out. I had it tested independently 4 months later. I just had to bag it. So the chain of evidence on this was not even remotely there. All I could do was film taking the stuff out because the health department did not do its job. The stuff tested 26 times the legal limits, 2 times the legal limits on a piece of baseboard. I turned this over to Port Townsend Police Department. They immediately filed a hazmat investigation report called the Health Department at Jefferson County, and they told Sergeant Kara, do not open a case on this. He did it anyway, and he told him he's covering his ass on it. So the potential contamination point is right there. They should have tagged the house at that point. Doesn't matter, potential is possible. It doesn't matter how the evidence was obtained, where it was obtained. It's not the tenant's responsibility to obtain this evidence. It is the health department's responsibility to force the owner to obtain the evidence. I went to the State Health Board on August 13th, 2014, and they opened a preliminary investigation and found that the Director of Health Department, Dr. Locke, acted correctly in not tagging the house. And they focused on that I didn't obtain the evidence correctly. They didn't even address the WAC code of me being the owner or the Jefferson County ordinance, me being an occupant, in either of those. So they basically violated civil rights on 2 fronts of the law of the state law. I'm going to be taking that into U.S. District Court. I'm going to be testing this, and anybody that's out there that's gone through this, all you got to look at is the keywords of potential contamination and owner. If a health department says that the owner can only come in, you are legally the owner by being an occupant and or a leasee. And on potential contamination, if you have to test anything yourself, because no lab will come in without the owner's permission, and that owner locked me out when I asked for permission for that. The potential contamination part, even if you remove it and have it tested, still stands. And police departments have to take in this as a report, and the health department has to act on it. We'll be in tune on this. Be fun to watch and listen and learn about this. Thank you very much.